Hello, everybody. Hopefully, VLC plays nice whenever I change up the playlist. Let me let people know that I'm live. Okay. All right. So tonight's gonna be a slow night, I think. We'll see if people trickle in. Um, let's go to just chatting. I really got to make that slower for that transition to kick in better. So yeah, tonight's gonna be. Oh, great. Hold on. Music did not kick off. Why is VLC? Why? Hey, Psycho Nerd 30. I'm doing all right. It's been an interesting week. I'm wondering why my music isn't playing. Um, it was just playing on the intro screen. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix this because I'm gonna need music for tonight. But yeah, it's been an interesting week. So I talked to my mother the other day, and that's always interesting talking to my mother. And I tried explaining a lot of my mental health issues. Yeah, psycho nerd tech issues. Let me see if I can remove the source and re-add it if that is it. Try this. Come on. Yeah, I tried talking to my mom about some stuff, and like that was a little bit frustrating. Um, because like my mom tries her best, but like some things just she doesn't really get. And you know what it's like talking to parents. Um, can be like hit or miss sometimes. Let me see if it works. Okay, that works. Okay, all right, that's a weird bug. Hey, Nabiru. Yeah, I tried talking to my mom, and like my mom means well. Yeah, exactly, Psycho. Um, my mom means well. And that's one of the things I have to keep telling myself whenever I have trouble communicating with her is I have to keep reminding myself, you know what, she means well. She's trying her best, even though that may not be super great sometimes. Um, and um, I'm also a very firm believer that um you can glean some kind of good advice or useful information from almost anyone. Like so I'm not that's not saying that like you should get that's not saying you should get like a medical diagnosis from someone with no medical training, but like you can learn something from everyone. That's something I'm a very firm believer in. And I try to learn something from everybody. Uh and one of the things my mom said that was really kind of odd was I think I talked about this on stream, but I had this thing where like I was talking to her about what's going on in my life, and she just kept insisting that one thing was something else, and just kept insisting on this or that or this and that. And then at the end of the call, right, she just starts saying, you know, I think you should go outside and get sunlight more often. And I'm like, what? And she starts doing this whole spiel where she's like, studies show that sunlight can be good for dealing with depression and this, that, and the third. And you know, you said you're living in a basement, and um, I know up there in Baltimore they probably don't have a whole lot of sunny days. I'm like, we have sunny days, like we have hot and sunny days just like anywhere else. Um, and so like my first knee-jerk reaction was just to be like, okay, my mom's being weird. And just nod my head and say okay and just move on. Um, but I'm also of the opinion that like there could be something to be learned from that, right? So like for most of this week, um, I've been I've been trying to um I've been trying to spend some time when I'm eating my breakfast to eat my breakfast outside, at least part of my breakfast outside, and get some sunlight because I know that I need vitamin D. I have to take vitamin D supplements, and I was already vitamin D deficient before, right? And I have to take vitamin D supplements in order to help with that. And I know that like on a sunny day, you can get most of your vitamin D needs met in about like 15 minutes in the sun, right? 15 minutes in the sun should cover most of what you need nutritionally from sunlight. And I'm like, you know, it can't hurt in order to just be outside, get some fresh air. So I've just been trying to do that this week. Like whenever I eat my breakfast, I've been trying to sit outside. I haven't really done it every day, and like obviously I can't do it on some days when it just gets rainy or cold and stuff. But like, uh, at least a couple days this week, I've been trying to do that. Yeah, exactly. Nothing wrong with some fresh air. And like, I don't know if I would say it's helped my depression. It's just been another thing, and it's just another thing I'm trying to do. Um, and that's been something I've been working on this week, trying to do what I can. And like that's been one of like there's there's so many things I can't control, right? There's so many things I can't control, and that's one of the things with learning about my medical condition and learning about this stuff in my life, learning that there's all these things that I can't control, all these things that are involuntary. Um and it's really easy when I look at this long list of things I can't do and this long list of things that I can't control to want to just um give up and to want to just um say, well, there's no point in trying. I have this long list of things I can't do. There's no point in trying to do anything. And what I've been trying to work on is trying to push back against that and saying, let's look at what I can do. Let's look at what I can control. Take control of what I can control. Do what I can, do what small steps I can in the right direction, and give myself a little bit of grace to say, you know what, even if it's not enough, at least I tried. At least I tried my best. At least I did what I could. I didn't just flop around. And the thing is, some days go better than others. Some days I'm like really some days I'm really productive. Some days I'm really functional. And other days I'm not. Um and that's that's part of this experience. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Psycho. Um you do what you can with what you've got. Um uh but yeah, so that's been kind of my week. I had a um an appointment with my I don't know if it's psychiatrist or psychologist, psycho something today, and they're the one who like gives me my prescriptions for my medication and stuff. Um and I really talked to them, and I had so much stuff I wanted to tell them. And I did tell them a lot, and they gave me some of their feedback, some of their suggestions, some of their things. But I also realized cuz like I I just learned about this phenomenon called intrusive sleep, which is a thing where ADHD people, if they're not, well, sometimes they will just randomly pass out, and it usually happens if they're not actively engaged or like actively doing something. Their brain just kind of shuts off and uh, they pass out or or start to pass out at least. And um, that's something I've been struggling with for over 10 years, right? It's something I've struggled with for a good portion of my life. Having that happen, and it was always so terrifying and confusing. I never knew why it was happening. I never knew what it was. And in every, pretty much, in well, almost every job I've had, and almost every facet of my life, um, that has held me back somehow. Um, because from what I can understand, I have a really severe case of it. Oh, hold on, let me. I have Facebook open and people start talking. People are talking. Mute notification. There we go. Good for 8 hours, so I'll get things. Okay. There we go. Cool. And so I have struggled with that for a long time. I've talked about this a little bit. And like when I talked to my therapist about it, my therapist had asked me and was like, "What are your next steps? How can I help you? What can I do to empower you, to help you, to like what next steps can we plan out for you to go forward with your treatment to deal with this revelation and this understanding of your medical condition, right?" And um I at the time when I talked to my therapist, everything was raw and fresh and new because I just discovered it was a thing and realized how well it fits uh all of my symptoms, and realized how well it describes everything that I'm dealing with. Um, it's funny when I talked to my mom about the intrusive sleep stuff. Uh, she kept trying to convince me that I have sleep apnea, and I'm like, "Mom, what? What?" She's like, "Yeah, if you have sleep apnea, then you'll pass out too." I'm like, I'm not tired. The point is, I go from wide awake to passing out in the space of less than 5 minutes. Like, yeah. Um, but yeah, so my mom kept trying to kept trying to tell me that I need to get a sleep study done and all this, and I don't even know. Like, you have to go to a special doctor to get a sleep study approved, and there's a whole bunch of stuff involved. I might end up doing that just to keep her just to deal with uh just so she sees that I'm not ignoring her. If I can get my insurance to cover it, which that's a big if. But yeah, I might do that. Also, it could be important for my disability case if I have proof that like I'm actually trying to do things. But yeah, so when I talked to my therapist, I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk to my psychiatrist. I'm gonna talk to my primary care physician. I'm gonna talk to them, and we're gonna figure out some next steps. And I was really just hoping that my psychiatrist would have some next steps for me. And it wasn't till I was in the telehealth appointment with my psychiatrist this morning that I realized my psychiatrist doesn't specialize in ADHD. I was probably going to be the one explaining to her what this phenomenon was and how it affects me. Um and if I wanted to get a diagnosis or get something, I'm probably going to have to go to a specialist. So, my psychiatrist reached out to her superior to see if there's some kind of specialist for like autism and stuff that they might be able to recommend me to. I'm talking to my primary care physician in a couple weeks. Can't remember how many weeks. We're going to be talking to her and seeing what we can do. But I realized that like I have to make peace with the fact that this is my reality. And that's hard. And like my psychiatrist did ask me questions. She didn't just like sit there like a lump on a log. She was asking me a lot of important questions about like how did I deal with it? How am I feeling? What am I doing? And also she was asking about other areas of my life, like, hey, you know, what's going on with these other things you said were going on in your life? And that was helpful. I realize I'm kind of like spilling my guts about what went on with my psychiatrist appointment today, but like it's not anything like private. And I like sharing. I like sharing some of the things I deal with here because I want to be real with you all. I want to be open with some of my mental health struggles because I know that other people struggle with mental health things too, and I want them to see that like it's okay. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to get help. Anyway, also I like talking about what's going on in my life. How was everybody else's week? Psycho Nerd 30, Naberu. What did you all get up to? Anyone else in chat? Uh what did you all get up to this week? Oh, I finally had an interview with the pastor of the online church I go to. I have to qualify that statement because like there's a church behind the house I live at, and um I went to that church and I still do go to that church from time to time. And in my head, when I think of my pastor, I keep thinking of like my knee-jerk reaction is to think of the pastor of that church that I physically attended. But I've spend a lot more time and feel a lot more aligned with this church that I attend online. Um, and uh, I sat down on a Discord call with the pastor of the online church and talked about the early church and about some of the history of the church and how it grew, how it developed, some of the struggles it faced, some of its teachings and ideals. Try to wrap my head around um what was it that caused the early church to grow and develop in the direction that it did. Currently working on a few fun projects, quizzes, videos, story concepts while listening to VTuber music. Ooh, what VTuber music are you listening to? Are you listening to some Suisei? Some ASCII? What VTuber music you listening to, Nabiru? Or, yeah. I realize there's more than just Hololive, but those are the first ones I think of. And it's interesting because, like, so I had this mental image of how the early church developed. And for my story with Jesus and the giant robot, for my Deus Ex Machina story, I wanted the growth of the community in the story to mirror the things that led to the growth of the early church in order to just be like a reflection of that, right? And I had this mental image of how the early church grew because as far as I'd been taught, as far as I knew and understood, it was a thing where the uh the apostles shared their testimony and shared about Jesus teaching and how uh Jesus changed their lives, and they were so moved and changed by what they'd experienced because I was always taught that like after Pentecost, after the Holy Spirit came upon them, they were so moved and motivated. They started preaching, and people were converted by the power of their testimony. That was the thing that was always emphasized to me when I learned about early church history growing up, because I grew up in Catholic schools. I grew up in the Catholic Church, and that's one of the things they always talk about is that, well, at least when they talk about the growth of the church, is the apostles and their disciples spreading their testimony and the miracles and wonders. And so that's what I was going into this with, right? I'd been leading into it with my story with like this idea that it was going to be this thing where like I was going to have the giant robot be representative of Jesus' miracles, right? And then have all of the people who witnessed it be changed in some way, and be sharing how that changed them, how that affected them, and the power of that testimony of the new converts, of the people who were set free from being the beasts, and all of that be the thing that was a driving force and motivating factor to bring people to the community to lead to the growth of the community. That was what I had been building towards. I am on chapter 6 of writing this story, right? I am like at or over 10,000 words into this story. Before showing up here, I was listening to Toa's Palette. Oh, Callie, End of a Life, Mume, New Journey. Oh my gosh, I love Mume's New Journey. And Callie, End of a Life. I've listened to that so many times, but I remember, like, I hadn't heard anything from Toa, and I watched the music video for Toa's Palette, or Palette or whatever, right? Um, and I barely understood what was going on because like the subtitles were weird, and I was still I was still new to the rabbit hole. But like Toa's voice uh was just so powerful and was so moving in that song. And like the ideals of that song just struck me to my core. I don't even remember what the song was about. I just remember being moved by that song. I've listened to them so much, and now I watch people react to them. Oh, that's so good. TMT's voice, yes. She seems like a little gremlin. She seems like a little gremlin, but then she starts singing. And you're just like, what? She tries so hard to be devilish, but what's it? Toa Magi Tenchi or something? Some kind of thing that just means that she's the best angel. She tries to be a demon. That just doesn't suit her personality. And it's one of those things where the lore is just so adorable with how it folds into her personality. Yes, Toa's really, yeah, she is an angel. I saw someone doing a breakdown of stuff about like how the story, how the people's kayfabe and their story fits with their personality. I don't remember all the details of it, but they're pointing out how like it was so adorable that like Toa is trying to be a devil, but isn't a devil. And they're like, Toa doesn't even have horns. Her mascot, her hat has horns, but she does not have horns. As another sign that just leans into that image of someone trying to be devilish, but it just not working for them. Anyway, when I was talking to the pastor this week about stuff, and I was like, I explained what I thought. I was like, can you explain to me what this looked like when the early church did these conversions, shared these testimonies? Because that's how I'm used to evangelism spreading. I actually found out about a lot of songs due to Ollie. She did a medley of a dozen songs mixed together. Ooh, nice. And like I had this mental image of evangelism, of growth, being through sharing testimony, miracles, revival meetings, and all of that. So I'm like, what did that look like back then? What kind of stuff did that look like? Hey, Jay. Good to see you. And so the pastor was like, that's not how they grew. They grew by empowering people and by feeding the hungry and caring for the powerless and actually reaching out and doing stuff for the community, for all the people that Rome was leaving by the wayside. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. As soon as it was one of those things where as soon as he said it, it made sense in my head, right? Of like, okay, I can see how that would cause like some explosive growth. And that and a few other details that he shared with me, and like a PDF he shared with me of like some early church teaching was just really, really big for me, learning all of this stuff. And I've been trying to like read through it, study my notes that I took during the meeting, interview thing, and try to really wrap my head around all of it and what it means for my story. and what I'll use versus what I won't. And like I've been looking at it and I realize kind of dreading the fact that there's going to be a lot of rewrites. There's going to be a lot of editing. There's going to be a lot of things where I'm going to have to go back and change certain things in what I've written so far in light of this new information. Um, and I'm hoping it doesn't have to be too big, but like if I want to do the story well, if I'm really passionate about this, then like it's something that's going to have to happen. And that's like I've been kind of dreading that. I've been having trouble getting in the right headspace for it, honestly. Um, I was supposed to work on it today, but then I got caught up talking to my D&D group about our adventures. I'm going on a one shot tomorrow, and so our D&D group, the DM will sometimes let us do one shots where like our character goes off, or one or two of our characters will go off on a side story of stuff that happens between sessions. And before we left our last town, there was a period where my character went off and did a solo research in this library, and we didn't have time to roleplay it, so he just told me what I found, right? And I was like, hey, I have time this weekend to do that one shot that you'd mentioned doing for the library. Can we do that? Right? And I'm thinking, oh, probably someone important's going to come in the library, going to have some like great interaction with someone in the library, right? Because that's where my character is, that's what my character's doing, and it's kind of weird to go back in time and do a one shot of a period of time that's already passed in the campaign. And like the DM made a joke about it, like tomorrow you're going to find out whether this character died yesterday. And um and then my DM was like, well, it's going to be really difficult for you to complete this one shot solo. In my brain, I'm just like, wait, what? I'm expecting like role play. I'm expecting um I'm expecting like maybe meeting some royalty or something, but then the talk of something about like I might end up getting revived, and like my character's big secret might be out. I'm just like, oh, what am I running into in this library? What am I about to run into in this library? Well, I really like my D&D character. As much as sometimes like my D&D group and the game might frustrate me sometimes, I really like this character, and it's the longest I've ever really played a character um as a player. Like I've run some decently long running campaigns before, and obviously when you're running the campaign you're running all the characters, but this is like one of, if not the longest period of time that I've been a player. It's coming up on a year. And that's an interesting experience for me. All right. So, for the last week, I've had 2 polls going, one on Twitter and one on my YouTube community page, asking which new game I was going to add to my rotation. Whether it was going to be Front Mission 5, Scars of the War, or Super Robot Wars Original Generations. And because we didn't really have a lot of people come through for the last Legend of Dragoon stream. I'm still going to be doing Legend of Dragoon because I want to finish it, and I still need to do Armored Core stuff. But I just felt like adding something new, and Front Mission 5 and Super Robot Wars are both strategy games, which I enjoy. And they're both the Japanese games that never made it to America. Super Robot Wars Original Generations is a PS2 upscaling of the 2 Game Boy Advance games, Original Generations 1 and Original Generations 2. With like improved stuff. And Front Mission 5 was a game that some people call one of the best Front Missions. that like featured a lot of details, not details, features a lot of mechanics and harkens back to a lot of things from the past front mission game. I have played front mission games in the past. I played 4 uh years ago. I think I played 3 at some point. So I'm familiar with the front mission game. I think I played 4 all the way through. It had like these 2 separate storylines that were interesting. I don't remember a whole much about it. I remember I was kind of frustrated whenever I read a guide and found out that the 2 storylines never crossed and the 2 characters weren't going to meet before, which really bugged me. But I still enjoyed it. I think I played. There was like a front mission re-release or something on one of the handhelds that I played. I don't remember. I think it was PSP or something. So I've played some front mission. I'm not like a huge aficionado in it, but like neither am I a huge aficionado of Super Robot Wars. Anyway, I had these 2 polls going. On the Twitter poll, I got 1 vote for Super Robot Wars. I was like, okay. On the YouTube vote, I got 2 votes for Front Mission 5. I was like, okay. All right. It's not much. It's a slim margin, but I'll take it. I'll probably go back and do Super Robot Wars at some point. I have dabbled around a little bit in Front Mission with this patched game just to make sure that whatchamacallit, the game works. Hopefully everything should work on stream. There's a lot of cutscenes. There's a lot of cutscenes and a lot of stuff involved with the beginning of the game and tutorials. There's like 30 minutes of cutscenes, and in between cutscenes and tutorials, there's like 30 minutes before the first mission starts. A front mission, which that's whatever. It's not quite like Metal Gear Solid level stuff, but it does deal in some of that like real robot-esque war story type thing. There's still going to be Japanese audio. I'm going to have music playing in the background because, well, for one, I like having my music playing in the background. And for 2, I don't know if any of the music in Front Mission 5 is DMCA'd. I don't know if any of those is copyrighted. So I'm just gonna have my own music in order to try to throw off any bots, because I would like this VOD to stay up and to not have to take down the VOD because of copyright shenaniganry. Last time I did a strategy game, I ran into that problem. I don't know if anyone here remembers or has noticed. I tried to do a playthrough of Sunrider, and I still want to get through that game. But after I found out that it actually deals with like some nudity and like I think like some sexual themes, something. I don't know all the details because I haven't beaten the game. But I found out that it does deal with some adult themes. I'll say that. I decided against completing it on stream, and also there was the fact that I think like the main theme or something was like DMCA'd. And my first video of the game, the theme came on, and like it wasn't a copyright strike. It wasn't a strike or anything like that. It was just a thing saying that because it featured copyright. Yeah. It was a thing saying that because it featured copyrighted music, it was going to have ads, and the copyright holder was going to be claiming the ad revenue. And I was like, okay, so I just took it down because I was like, you know, I'm not dealing with that, right? Actually, let me check something quick. And that's actually a big part of um why I boop a doop a doop a doop a doop. Do I have any restrictions on my stuff? I don't think. Yeah, I took down the one. It was like the second, or that was like the third one that I just deleted it. I have so many streams. I stream so much. I just looked on my YouTube page at all of my streams. And like I only have like 30 actual videos, but I have like 175 streams or something ridiculous like that. Yeah. I have a couple streams that uh did that. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. But yeah, so that's why I want to have music going, just so that way if anything pops up, the music should throw off any detection bot. And also it adds some different flair to the session. You know what I mean? Um, and like you never know. And I was so confused because I was such a noob at YouTube that when I got that copyright warning or whatever, right? I fought it because I'm like, hey, I paid for this game. What do you mean I can't like do that? And I didn't realize that just because I paid for the game doesn't mean that I own the rights, like stream or broadcast the game. Doesn't mean that I own the rights to the music. And like now looking back on it, it seems like I was being completely silly to even fight it in the first place, right? And of course my appeal was denied. um and thankfully it didn't lead to anything like heinous or anything on my account, because that would have been atrocious if like my career just blown up because I misunderstood basic copyright law. um and and yeah, and as for why we're not doing another writing stream, last writing stream didn't perform so well, didn't really have a lot of views. I've noticed my last few writing streams had some pretty good performance, for me at least. And the last one didn't really seem to get that much attention. Um, and also, I'm just kind of procrastinating and having trouble getting in the right headspace for all of the rewriting that I'm gonna have to do. It might not even be that much rewriting once I actually get down to it, because we're still early enough in the story. Um, but it's given me a direction of where I want the story to go, and it's having me have all of these different buzzing ideas that I'm still processing, and I want to process before I get back to doing more writing. And like one of the things I told the pastor was that like I realize this idea for this story is silly, but that's my thing. That's what I do. I take really silly ideas and I take them way too seriously. That's my thing. That's my MO. That's what I do. That's how I create stories. That's how I create games. That's how I create game worlds, is where I take a silly idea, a random idea, and I just take it way too seriously. And I had to be okay with that. That like that is a part of my creative process, a part of how I do and why I do what I do. Anyway, let's get to. We've been talking, and I want to make sure I get to the actual stream sometime in the near future, the actual like content of the stream. So I have to be careful because like the opening. What is on? What is on internet right now? I looked on Twitter and there's just people arguing about random stuff. I realize that's kind of what Twitter is. Many of you want to use the bathroom now or later? All right. So the thing is, as soon as the game starts, the opening movie is like the introduction of the game. And like so I have to have this going at the start of the game. So like give me a second. Actually, I am going to use the restroom now. Instead of doing it later. I'm going to put up the intermission screen and I will be right back. I go use the potty. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Let me get everything. Let me switch over the music and we will see if it doesn't kick out on me. Because last time when I changed playlists, it like would not work. So let's see if it works this time. Okay, yeah, it's working this time. I don't know why it didn't work last time when I did that. Alright, let me close Google Chrome. Okay. Okay. Had to move everything over. Alright, so now I can keep track of chat. Got everything situated. Alright, now I'll try getting this booted up. Late in the 20th century, a new island arose due to the uplift phenomenon. Pacific Ocean. Huffman Island. Rich in natural resources. Is that code word for oil? The thing is, if it has a lot of natural resources, why wouldn't it just have a lot of like manufacturing facilities and like mines and stuff? I can't imagine there being like a lot of cities and stuff. I would imagine it'd be more manufacturing. Okay. Okay. So, from what I understand from when I went through and started before, this is apparently like the childhood of some main characters or something. And like this is like the start of a war. One thing about Front Mission is their war stories. The mechs are called Wanzers and are used for and are like the most versatile and standardized weapons of war. I looked away for a second. I presume he was running back for the camera. Yeah, I guess he was running back for either the camera or the bike. Either way, he was being a really silly kid. We're introducing our two players here, the OCU and the USN.
紛争による傷跡を持つ世代は成長し、情勢がそれに拍車をかけて、その後も各地では小規模な戦闘が繰り返されている。その戦火は再びハフマン島全土に及ぼうとしていた。
Let me turn down the game volume a little bit because I think the game volume's a little bit loud. There we go. It keeps it quiet. Everything should have subtitles, so that should be fine. Looks like they had online play at some point, which is funny because this was a PS2 game, and I guess PS2 did have some, like, you could get like an online extension or something for the PS2. Wasn't there a way to get like a modem or something? Alright, OCU residential area, Peseta City. Okay. Oh my gosh, the frame rate, my frames. That's a cool looking gun though. It's running into that. It looks like it's like they're not releasing the safety remotely, so it reminds me of the guns from Hobbs and Shaw, where like you need a special thumbprint, and like if they lose connection, the guns become useless. One of the thing about playing a strategy game is like even if my FPS drops, I can just ride out the FPS drop and it should be fine. One other thing is I don't think there are lasers or energy weapons in Front Mission because it's such a real robot setting. Or like if they are, they're on like because I think I remember there being lasers in Front Mission Evolved. That was like a weird offshoot. Yeah, so it was one of the main characters or something. I didn't look at the exact date. I probably should have. Like with it being so real robot-y, I should probably be keeping track of the dates. 'I guess I should probably, with it being Memorial Day weekend, I should probably be playing something like Metal Wolf Chaos, something like pseudo patriotic. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see what I play on Monday or if I do a writing stream because it is Memorial Day. I might do this again. I just had some trouble getting into Metal Wolf Chaos. It was just something I had a lot of trouble getting my head around. It's like 2 years later, so 2 years have passed. Okay. Who's next? Walter Fang. I think that's the main character. This is the tutorial. Okay. Fighting your target over here. It's an unmanned unit. Okay. Just having some fun moving around. I remember from when I did the tutorial last time, if you don't move, you end up like having to do 2 moves to get to this space. I know they're gonna punch me if I get close. Okay. Oh, of course. Okay. Okay, got no weapons left, so now I should be good to just run in. All right. Almost got enough for a full level up. Okay. Randy O'Neill, Unit 14. Okay. 3 months later. That's some intense training. 2 years, and then 2 years till you get in a Wanzer, and then 3 months after you get in a Wanzer. Ah. So now we're looking from Fang, the character we were just controlling. Okay. All right, results are next. Oh, so this is where they're all waiting for the results of their exam. He's worried because he thinks he failed his test. Okay. Talking about the childhood friend that they had. All right. You're a striker. You're a launcher. I don't know what all that means. You're a gunner. Okay. To leave this room, press the X. You still got time. Hurry back when you're done. Let's head to the operations room. Let's see what's there. This is one of the interesting things. Hey, Okusan, good to see you. Yes, front mission won the poll. How are you doing? Are you a front mission fan, Okusan? Are you one of the people who voted for front mission? Saying nothing to me. Saying nothing to me. You wanna be. Oh, he's not. Yeah, this is front mission 5. This is the front mission that never made it to the US. This is a English fan patch of the game. The background music is from Stream Beats because I don't know if any of the music here is DMCA and I'm not taking that chance. So I have the volume turned way down, and maybe there's great music that I'm missing, but you know what? If it means that I don't have to worry about copyright stuff, I'll take it. You know what I mean? Are you a big front mission fan, Okusen? I mean, you recognized it. Or did you just get that from the... did you just get that from the title of the stream? See, I would see it's cool to publicly announce that everyone passed, but then like it would suck if there was like one person who didn't pass and they're just like, yeah, you didn't pass, you leave the room. Oh, it has been on your list forever? Okay. Well, I'm gonna get so lost in the politics in this, and I'm gonna love every minute of it. So how was your week, man, Okusen? Okay, so that's the objective, destroying the radar. Oh, we're on mop-up duty, okay. Interesting. I've been sick a few days, had orientation for work since I'm isolating. I've gotten to game a lot, which I really missed. Oh, what have you been gaming? What have you been doing? What games have you been playing? I have never played the third Mass Effect game. I fell in love with the first Mass Effect game. I played it for hours and hours on end, and I enjoyed the second Mass Effect game, but I never played the third one. And I keep looking at the Legendary Collection, debating picking it up whenever I see it on sale. I have it on my wish list on Steam to be like, yeah, and it's on the list of things that I would like to pick up at some point and then stream once I get my new computer, which I'll get eventually whenever Silva gets around to shipping it to me. Oh, that's cool, Lokusan. Stripe, you'll be giving... The second game is one of my favorite games of all time because the impact it had on me. Oh, okay. This is a silly question. I gotta ask because it's a question you gotta ask when you talk to people about Mass Effect. Who did you romance in Mass Effect? Or did you romance anyone, Okusan? AP system, battle weapon types. Okay. First game was all about romancing Talia. The one, I think that's her name. The one who was who had to be in the health bio suit the entire time, right? And then, uh, yeah, Tally. Um, and then in the second game, this is gonna sound really immature and really silly. I looked up in a guide the correct things you had to do in the second game to romance both Tally and I think it was Kelly, the one who's like your assistant one. The really bubbly girl who's like your assistant. Okay. Let's go around the wall. I don't move out till I select move out. So I want to talk to everyone. This is as far as I made when I was testing because I just wanted to make sure the game worked. Um Oh, okay. No one's here in the commander's room. So no one's in the command center. Job types, call them branches too, but it means the same thing. Infantry, perform multiple roles in need be, but we specialize in diversity roles. Okay. Strikers, close combat with melee weapons. Assaults in close combat, but will use gun weapons. Gunners, snipe from a distance. Launchers, use shoulder-mounted weapons. Mechanics can repair and restore damaged units via maintenance jammers. Use electronic warfare. Okay. Okay. Training and a job type. As you gain experience, you can acquire a number of skills. If you gain striker experience, what abilities get better? Well, you can have a faster, more specialized movement. You can land 2 blows in one time. It takes to land a single one. That's called the amazing skill called double punch. Okay. All right. Skills are more effective if you yell their name out. Oh my gosh. If you yell out passive skills, you're really gutsy. Alright, if you touch something hot, you pull your hand away, right? If something heads for your face, you protect yourself, right? Similar reactions can be applied to the wands or piloting. There are more kinds out there. How do you learn them? You learn them through experience, through your flesh and bones, but never forget the part about yelling skill names. It's really great if you yell at enemies through the comms. Gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh. My gosh, he yelled double punch 1,000 times. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that was junior officer. Let's see if there's anyone in senior officer's room. Let me save. There we go. There's the save button. I want to talk to everybody before we start the mission. I realize there's a lot of people to talk to. There's so much dialogue. I don't know if it affects the game, but part of me wants to experience the dialogue because that's part of the experience for me. It's not just the role playing. I mean, it's not just the tactical side. All right. All right. Oh, is that female officer like hitting on me? Or, I don't know what they are. Let's see if anyone's in the gym right before the mission. All right. Okay. So how are you liking Mass Effect 1? Also, how did it feel to jump into the second Mass Effect game, Okusen? I can't imagine jumping into that having not played the first one. Uh, There's so much to explore. I don't remember there being this much stuff between missions. Like in past front mission games that I played, like between missions, you had maybe a cutscene or two, at least from what I remember. And like then you had like the customization to like prep your Wanzers between missions. You didn't have all these people to talk to. There's so many characters that you're going to be starting with. That's interesting. I only remember there being like a small number of characters, but I feel like it's going to be a hard decision to decide who to use for each mission if I have to choose between all these people. That's interesting advice where he said if you're in a hurry, follow the guides, but like building relationships is important. And I'm wondering if that's going to play a role kind of like a persona system. They're using the same models for some of the people I've interacted with already. Energy you need from food, that's important. Wanderers invaded, violating ceasefire. They went and shot the place up. There were 62 casualties. Oh, it even has little bits of slots about them. Oh, it even has little blurbs about them. There's so many characters. This is the person that like the captain said, or the commanding officer said he wanted to introduce me to. Oh, cool. Well, here's where we go to the tutorial. Okay. I know the basic rules. Let's do the tutorials. I feel like knowing the tutorials can be important. So let's just run the tutorials real quick. I want to get into the actual game. I'll figure out the tutorials as I go. All right. Ba 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 ba. An item. Beginner pilots as good as veterans. Ooh. Oh, okay. So I can't use the simulator. Uh, take a look at the simulator line with this situation. Yeah, everyone did have the same idea. Okay. And last place, pilot's ready room. Oh, okay. So I've talked to everyone. Okay. I haven't done any of the tutorials. I want to actually get to the first mission. I figure I'll learn this stuff probably a lot faster as we go. If after the first mission I don't know what's going on, I'll probably do the tutorials between missions. I want to get there because it's 10 o'clock and I don't know how long the mission's going to take. Because I don't want to end the stream mid mission. You know what I mean? Something real quick. Okay. Ah, 20. Okay. I like the look of these machines, like with the big camera in the front. Oh yeah, they're friends on the other side of the war. But these cockpits seem really spacious. Alright, let's see what this battle looks like now that I've talked to everyone on the base. I'm presuming these red ones are enemies. I'm I'm only starting with 2? Okay. Alright, that's sortie. After all that, it's like 40 minutes. We finally get to the first actual mission. This is June. Losing conditions, all allied units are destroyed. Okay. He's a launcher. That one's... Hold on. Its legs are gone. And it is... It's out of ammo, and I don't want to waste ammo. Oh, okay. The launchers have ammo, but the actual things... Okay. So we're not going to be shooting at him. I want to make it to... What are you? You're a striker. Lost one arm. It's still got machine guns. Oh, this one's fully repaired. This one's going to be the big kahuna. Okay, that's going to be the big kahuna. So I want to conserve my launcher ammo for him. Hold on. Oh, different things take different amounts of AP. Range 6-8. Where does it tell me how much AP this takes? It's out of ammo, but it's got punches. It's gonna try punching. How is it moving if its legs are destroyed? Oh, it just has just very immobile. Okay. Let's do. That's not one I want to take on right now. Okay. Well, there it is. AP 10. Okay, there we go. I'll trade punches with you. Oh, because I changed to press needle, I have... Oh, it's out of range of my Gale, too. Alright, I need to be focus firing, and this is not focus firing. Of course I missed with that spike. Oh dear, I'm taking too much damage. Uh, okay, one threat down. This machine gunner is tearing me apart. He keeps coming at me from that side. He's gonna blow up my, okay. 2 down. Oh, level up. Cool. Big boss came into play. This thing is going to be the hard one because this is the one that hasn't taken any damage. It's got a whole bunch of the machine guns. Uh... 54 times 1. That hits a wider variety of places. But I need to do a bunch of damage to the head part. There we go. Chipping away at it. This is about to get messy. Oh, geez, I'm about to lose my shotgun. Only repair one thing. Part of me wants to repair the right arm just so I have the shotgun, but I'm using the punchy stuff more right now. But I think I need. Ooh, now it's gonna. It just thinks just outside of the range of my. Okay, lost the shotgun arm. Oh, nice! Took out the body with that one. It's not head, it's body. It's got body, left arm, right arm, leg. Oh, you can't repair destroyed parts. So I should have done repairs to that before it broke. Okay, I have to remember that I can't repair destroyed parts. That is important to know. Because if I did that, I could have just been shooting at this thing from outside of its range. Alright, so I'm out of ammo. I can do some all repairs and some missile reload, but I don't want to waste those items. I'm glad we chipped this one away, so it's not super bad, but like. Oh, great. Cool. Just need one punch. Lost one arm. Had to use one item. Cool. Alright, that mission went pretty well. Like I said, lost one arm, so gonna probably have to do, I don't know if there's like repair points or whatever. Freedom Invasion Force. An advancing company is coming. You have to guard the perimeter. Alright, get some rest, move out. Freedom Suburbs. It's Freedom. Oh, Freedom's the name of the place. That's funny. This is like a couple days later. Oh, my FPS. Oh, he's remembering the day with that bike. Oh, wait, so I could have skipped the opening cutscene because he has the flashback to it now? Oh, okay, no. It's important. Oh, this is like a few weeks later. No, this is years ago. This is years after that initial event. Choosing to keep a scar in a futuristic world where they can treat that. That's funny. One kid calling another kid kitty is funny. That's... There's only one of them left. Okay. This is back in present day. Okay. Ooh, is he gonna run into him on the battlefield? We're jumping straight into the next mission? I haven't had a chance to repair my broken shotgun, even though it's in that scene. Okay. Okay. Teamwork.
容易となった彼らは各攻撃波で突破してくる可能性が高い。現在援護として単語8と14がそちらに急行中だ。合流ポイントを考慮して移動しながら戦え。全敵の制圧をもって任務完了とする。油断するなよ。
Okay, first, let me save. All right, so we've got an assault, launcher, assault gunner. We got a mechanic and an assault coming in. And 2 player units. Okay. Gonna need to deal with that launcher first, or else it's gonna tear me apart. At range. Can I do this in 20 minutes? Let's find out. This is a relatively short mission. Let's see if I can finish this before we end stream. Not numberless, but they've taken damage. Backup is en route. The enemy seems to be on their own. Until then, we need to hold them off. Okay. All right, so it's got 3 shots total of its big shoulder weapons. Taking some damage on its machine guns. Again with the machine guns. Ooh, that's a long-range rifle. That's a named character. All the rest of these are just generic. That one's a named character. Okay. Alright, I'm fully reloaded. Ooh, my repairs are refilled. Okay, great. Everything is repaired. Okay. Can he shoot back? No, he can't shoot back. Okay. Oh, I don't have line of sight, so I can't shoot him. Okay. Let's take out this machine gunner. All right, they're coming in over here, so I kind of want to be over there at the start of the fight. That's a problem. Okay. I did this wrong. I should have been retreating. This is gonna be bad. Okay. He might be about to lose a weapon. Okay. Oh, I can restore destroyed parts. Okay. Great. There we go. That's one threat down. Um, okay. All right, we're making progress here. Gonna need some repairs on Walter. That's the missile. I don't know if I can talk to that character. Okay, what have we got here? Okay. Gotta deal with that. Of course I missed on the second swing. Ooh, that's problematic. Gonna have to deal with him soon. These two are just having a missile battle, which is funny. Ooh, that was a lot of damage. Hold up. Oh, okay, cool. Right on target. That deals with that. Okay. Only enemy left is this one. Uh, did he just skip his turn? Did he just spend his turn talking? Yeah, he thought talking was a free action. Exactly, Naberu. I was like, wait a minute, did this? I want to see if he says anything when Eldos attacks him. When Randy attacks him. Oh, uh-oh. That definitely needs some repairs. Will this take him down? Ooh. See if Cheyenne's going to be the one who takes him down. Well, if this hits the body, then that should take him down. Oh, took out an arm. Oh, he's gonna shoot it. He's gonna shoot at him. Okay. Gonna have to repair himself at this rate. There we go. That's better. There we go. Got taken out by the main. Oh, he's not dead yet? There we go. I was about to say, want to take him out with the main character. I didn't know if I was supposed to talk to him or whatever. I had him surrounded. I should be able to capture him. Alright. My missile dude put in work. Yeah, Damon and Walter put in work. Randy is almost to level 3. He was having a healer in the party was definitely crucial. He needs 9 XP to get up 1 level. That's hilarious. This is like 2 days later. No, this is the same day. Talking like old friends. Is he gonna get shot here? Okay, he's gonna surrender. Are they gonna shoot him in cold blood? Okay, I was like, are they about to, like, are we about to go War Crime Central here? Alright. So we got in 2 missions and the tutorial. Now we've got a whole new mess of people to talk to because we're at an entirely new base. All right. That has been an adventure. I'm definitely liking it. It is definitely quite the adventure. I'm having fun with it. I hope you all are having fun watching me. I realize not a lot of people were coming in chat and talking. So I don't know, maybe all of you just hate it, but I mean, it's the thing that people voted for, so I don't know. We'll see. Let's go to wind down for a little bit tonight. Let's go to wind down mode. Okay. Make sure you always gotta save twice before you shut down. Okay. All right. But yeah, it turns out since that was in the middle of the turn, I guess talking was a free action for him. I'm wondering if the childhood friend is going to be like the villain or something. All right, let's change up the music a little bit for this last little segment. I always like to end with this. This is arguably one of my favorite playlists from Stream Beats, their holiday playlist. Because it's not overtly holiday, but it's just this like general light-hearted like playlist. And that's cool. Okay, this one's Jingle Bells. So that's blatantly holiday, but like I'll take it. So yeah, that's Front Mission 5. I've heard a lot of stuff about it. When I did some research on it, like, because I didn't want to do Front Mission 4 because I've played that game before. I don't remember anything of it. Well, I don't remember the story. I don't even remember if I finished Front Mission 4. I remember I got into it. But like, I was debating doing it just because I hadn't done it before. I hadn't played through it on here, maybe finishing the story, but it doesn't, even though I don't think I finished Front Mission 4, it doesn't have that like weight to me as like Legend of Dragoon or any of the other games that like I thoroughly regret not finishing. Right? And that's one of the reasons why I was perfectly fine with starting with Front Mission. I might do Front Mission on Monday because it's Memorial Day, like military type thing. Might do something like that. I'm not sure. I don't know. Like, I know for like July 4th, right? I sometimes like to do Meta Wolf Chaos. Just to be like, what's up? You know? Because that's like so like that over the top silly patriotic. That I think it's really fun, right? Which, like, that's fine. But this I actually can get into, right? It's fun to get into because it's like they're fictional organizations in a fictional situation on a literal fictional island, right? So that's kind of fun to just delve into, and you don't have to deal with all of the stuff involved with like comparisons to real world politics. Second. But we'll see what I do. I want to play through more of this game. When I did research on this game, right? Some people lauded it as like the best Front Mission game, or some people said it was like pulled elements and mechanics from some of the most beloved front mission games. Apparently, it pulls a bunch of mechanics and tools from front mission 1 and 2, and doesn't include some of the things people didn't like about 3 and 4. But I think front mission 3 was like super popular. From what I understand, it was a thing where like Front Mission 3 was super popular, but then Front Mission 4 wasn't popular here in the West, which is why they didn't bring over Front Mission 5. Um, which is a shame, because it seems like a cool game. Like what I've played of it so far, I mean, it's a Front Mission game. The the starting missions aren't hard per se, but they're definitely interesting. They present interesting challenges, and like now I've got a whole nother base to talk to everyone at this other base. And I'm wondering if like as you talk to people and interact with them, if it's gonna like develop stuff with them. So I'm very curious how that's gonna pan out. But I also don't want to lose track of what I was doing, which was like the Legend of Dragoon stuff, the Armored Core stuff. But it's nice. Like when I started the Armored Core stuff, I felt like I was fighting the game more than I was like I was fighting the game more than I was fighting my opponents. And I don't get that feeling here. Because it's a strategy game, I feel like it's just a lot more forgiving in like the for emulation. And overall it just it functions. Aw. I made a tweet because somebody this author I kind of look up to, Mogu Mogu. Yes, I love Okayu's Mogu Mogu. Mogu Mogu Mogu. Yes, and have you seen the Mogu Mogu video game someone put together? I think it was Mogu Mogu. But yeah, this person on Twitter who's an author did this thing where they were like, yes, it really is. Did this thing where it's like, it's been a long week, rest here, weary writer, and has a little gif of someone resting at a bonfire from Dark Souls. And I replied in there. I was like, yeah, I had it like this week about how I had the interview with the source related to my current project. Got new information, and it completely changes the direction I need the story to go in. And I'm asking myself how much I'm willing to rewrite to make this happen. Need a break, so I'm going to game. And this person responded. I didn't expect them to respond. And they said, sounds like a really productive time though, and here's hoping rewrites go as smoothly as they can. Enjoy the break in gaming tonight. That's nice. I might get some writing done after stream. We'll see how I feel. We'll see how I feel. This has been fun. So I wanted to share a meme with you. I wanted to share a meme with you that I think is really funny. So, in my D&D game, well, the one I play in, right? Um, I always have to qualify it because whenever I say my game, like in my head, it sounds like I'm saying the game that I'm running because those are the ones I consider my games. So this is someone else's game that I'm playing in. It's their world. But sorry, semantics aside, I'm playing a Warforged who can eat. We've established that my Warforged can eat, but he doesn't need to eat. And in order to fit in and hide the fact that he's a Warforged, he does eat, but he normally just eats vegetables because since he's getting no nutritional content from it, he doesn't see the point in eating animal flesh. He doesn't see the point in like an animal having had to die if he's not going to get any nutritional value from it. And he's just eating to fit in anyway. So he just is essentially vegetarian, vegan type thing, right? And my DM has played along a lot, and at the taverns we've been to, he's generally introduced some kind of like vegetable or vegetarian option, which has been really helpful for me. But anyway, so I saw this meme about peanut butter cups, so these baked beans in chocolate cups, right? They look like baked beans. I don't think they're red beans, Nabiru. I feel like if it was in Japan, they would be like a red bean paste or something, right? But they don't look like what I've seen of red bean paste, right? And I made the joke because the current like kind of arc my character is going on or I want my character to go on is exploring romance, right? So I made the joke that if my character was to try making a treat in order to win someone's heart, like through their stomach, like making them a sweet treat to express affection to them, this would probably be something he would come up with because he's never had to deal with food before. He'd be like, these beans are sweet. Put them like they're sweet and savory. Put them in a chocolatey, sweet outer shell, and then like give that to somebody. So, because tell me that doesn't look like something that like AI would dream up, right? But I feel like if it was Japan, it would be like a red bean paste or some kind of a bean paste. Naberu. I could be wrong. Maybe this is a Japanese treat. Who knows? Somebody knows, tell me. Warm milk in a bowl and then I don't even know if cereal exists in this world. That's a good question. No, you know what would be even funnier? If he poured water in the bowl and then cereal. Because he looks at milk and he's like, I don't need milk. Cereal's supposed to be in fluid and just pours water. And then drinks it. And then drinks it out of the bowl instead of using the spoon. I think I'd have him take a big bite without breaking him. That would be where he'd go with that. Take a big bite without breaking them because he wouldn't understand the process of breaking them. Why is I'm done with Taylor Swift trending? What? Interesting, Nabero. What? People are saying... People are complaining that Taylor Swift played some song that they all love, but they weren't there to see it. I don't even understand. What in the world? I'm so confused. Popular media confuses me. All right. So, I watched, so like, I watch Critical Role. They're a big part of my life. Honestly, watching Critical Role was a part of what started me down the path that led to me being back in my relationship. Um, and well, in my new reborn, it's complicated. Anyway, it doesn't really need to be, but whatever. I'm not going into all the details. And last night was the last Thursday of the month, and normally this means, normally this would mean that there's no Critical Role. But what they're doing instead is they're doing a short mini series that's going to be taking place on the last Thursday of the month, which would normally be their time off, and it's called Candela Obscura, and it's this gothic horror game that's not played with D&D. And it's played with their new Illuminated Worlds game system that their publishing company, Darrington Press, is releasing. And it's like, they're releasing the game, and then the Candela Obscura is like their default, I guess the default setting. I don't know. And it was interesting. It was not D&D, and it gave me some interesting vibes watching this game, right? Because it's a D6 system, right? That uses a dice pool, and it's a thing where instead of, like, what I like is that it eases up the pressure on the game master, where, like, you don't have to decide or arbitrate what the DC is that people have to beat to succeed. It's very similar to another system called Caltrop Core. And I don't know if other systems do this as well, but that's the one I thought of because that's the one I've experienced. I've read. I think Lumen does it this way too. Your skills determine how many dice you roll. You take the highest die, and then a 3 or less on the D6 is a failure. 4 or 5 is success at a cost or mixed success, and 6 is complete success. And then if you're rolling your dice pool and you get multiple 6s, that's a critical success. Which makes critical successes very rare. Which is interesting. And so that's interesting, right? In the skills, you can have up to 3 ranks in a skill, so that means your dice pool would be up to 3 for that. But you can spend this other liquid currency you have that you have to refill as you go to add dice to that pool, but you can never roll more than 6 die at a time. So that's interesting. But it's a cinematic narrative system, right? Where like it's not like a war game like D&D tends to fall into, right? It's, while there is conflict, it's an investigation game. It's like you are playing as investigators, and it very much reminds me. It reminds me, the theme of it, at least of this setting and of Candela Obscura, reminds me of Monster of the Week, where every session there is a monster you're supposed to find, and you're supposed to figure out how to defeat the monster, and then by the end of the session you should have captured the monster or defeated the monster in some way using the things that you discovered in the thing. I've only ever played a few sessions of Monster of the Week, and there was like, from what I understood, it was supposed to be you deal with a different monster every week, or maybe it stretches for 2 weeks. But our game master was trying to build it like a D&D thing, where like the monster was like gone for extended periods of time, and so that made it kind of hard to like level up and progress through the game. And there was just a lot of complex storytelling in the middle there, but I had a lot of fun, and it was great exploring that character. And I definitely wouldn't mind going back to Monster of the Week. I think that was Powered by the Apocalypse system, and I enjoy those. That's interesting. And also, I was talking to Okusen the other day about mutants and masterminds, which got me thinking about running a mutants and masterminds game again, and what it would take, what I would do differently, how I would run things in a mutants and masterminds game. And that just got me thinking, because like it was weird when I was answering or questions or giving suggestions, and I was like shaking off the dust in my head and looking stuff up to remember it, and just being like, this used to be my life. Mutants and Masterminds was so revolutionary to me. And like, I tend to get really hyper focused on things, hyper fixated on things, and like drawn in to the point that they become my life, right? That's just part of the ADD, the ADHD autism experience, right? And like, for a long time, my life revolved around card games, right? And around trading card games. And I did Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, exactly, Nabiru. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! For a long time. And like, I dabbled in Magic. I played Magic a lot, but then when set rotation happened and the deck I was using rotated out of Standard, I was just not really in it. I grew up on Pokemon, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Was like where I got involved. Like, I started with Pokemon, I did some Magic. My mom bought me a Magic starter kit to learn how to play Magic when I was a kid, and then I eventually got to do that. But then Yu-Gi-Oh! Was where I really sunk my teeth in. It was when I was in those adolescent years, and I was able to watch the game grow. I memorized the rule books, and also whenever I was a young adult coming back from college, right? And in the college time, when I was in college, right? I was interacting with other people who were big into Yu-Gi-Oh. I was interacting with someone who was trying to start a Yu-Gi-Oh card shop, right? And I had these really great experiences with Yu-Gi-Oh, as it was a community building thing, helped me make friends, helped me interact with people. I remember those late nights in my friend's garage sorting cards and like all of these great experiences surrounding Yu-Gi-Oh, right? And it was a huge part of my life. And like one of the biggest eye-opening things for me was when I traveled across the country for um the last Shonen Jump championship before they changed over to the Yu-Gi-Oh Championship Series. And I drove with my friends across the country for the Shonen Jump Championship, and that was huge for me. And it was the largest tournament I'd ever been in, and being in that experience just changed me. It was so revolutionary to me. And then whenever I moved to where I live now, I left that community, right? And at first I just felt like a fish out of water for years, because everyone I played Yu-Gi-Oh with was so casual, and I'd been competing at such a level against all of these really intense and really capable players that interacting with people who were just super casual about it, just having fun with it, right? Just goofing around, playing these silly decks, not dealing with rulings and super big combos and optimized deck builds, right? Was this kind of almost culture shock for me. And I put Yu-Gi-Oh down for a long time, until I made one of my friends at a job I was working at, and then we started going to card shops. And then Yu-Gi-Oh became a big part of my life again, and I was investing all this time and effort and money into Yu-Gi-Oh. And then I got burnt out over time. Like, and I realized that there was a cap to what my skill could do. I could build decks and strategize, but I would consistently just choke, make the wrong decision, falter, question myself as soon as I got above a locals level. I remember I was at a regional. One of my friends was like, "Listen, I can't comprehend the fact that you're losing right now. I'm doing better than you because you always rock me." He was saying that since I always do so well at locals, he couldn't comprehend how I just kept losing at regionals. And something about it where I was psyching myself out and just getting burnt out. And I'd been so obsessed with Yu-Gi-Oh for so long, right? That like it was just exhausting for me dealing with the cost of extra deck cards and everything, that picking up Card Fight Vanguard was this breath of fresh air. It was the card game that freed me from that like Yu-Gi-Oh almost not quite addiction, but as much as like mentality, right? Was moving to Card Fight Vanguard. And then from Vanguard, I also picked up Buddy Fight, and Buddy Fight, I learned about Hero World, and Hero World was a huge part of my personal identity, was being recognized as a gym leader for Hero World in my local circuit. And that was huge for me. And I'll always love Vanguard for that, even though I don't play. But Vanguard was like my refuge away from my frustrations with my limitations with Yu-Gi-Oh. I had built up so much of my image about playing, and then having that image being shattered whenever I got to a regional level was just hard. And Vanguard was that release for me. Into other hobbies, into other things from Yu-Gi-Oh. And then as Vanguard got like super crazy expensive and stuff, I moved to I invested more heavily in Buddy Fight, and then Buddy Fight started getting super crazy expensive and crazy and hyper fast, and it just got all kinds of wonky. But just like Vanguard was my release from Yu-Gi-Oh, and Dimensional Robos were the deck that I leaned into after I learned about things. At first, I was going to play Angel Feather because they had the big mobile hospital that was a big battle roid that I was like, yo, giant robot. I thought Twin Drive was the most powerful thing when I was first learning about Vanguard and reading the rules. I was like, you get 2 cards in your hand? That's so cool. I didn't realize every grade 3 had Twin Drive. Oh my gosh. I thought it was a special ability. And just like that, how that was my release from Yu-Gi-Oh, Mutants and Masterminds was my release from Dungeons and Dragons, specifically 5th edition. I had been so consumed with 5th edition. Yeah, there are the gifts and so many things involved in Vanguard now. I looked into it. I looked at it. They've got spell cards now and all that stuff. And I'm like, I could pick it back up, but that would cost money, and I would have to actually go to a card shop or start competing in some, like, I'd have to have somebody to play with. I don't want to invest in it if I'm not going to play with anybody, right? And but yeah, Mutants and Masterminds was my release from D&D. I was so D&D had become my world. I was so consumed with it that every rule I learned in Mutants and Masterminds seemed like a new magical thing. I remember spending at least a week, probably multiple weeks, using Hero Lab's free version to make characters and obsess over different builds and mechanics and learn how things work together. And I remember talking to my brother about it, and we were both just gushing over how cool Mutants and Masterminds was and how different it was and how it was it gave so much possibility, and there was so many things about character building, and we both just fell in love with the system. And then after I started playing Mutants and Masterminds, right, I played other systems too. And that was like Mutants and Masterminds was what led me to running the Optiverse Mutants and Mastermind show, the Cosmic Corsairs, which introduced me with a lot of friends, introduced me to Opti and some other people that are really big parts of my life through Mutants and Masterminds, right? But then, even though Mutants and Masterminds was at first my release from 5th edition, Mutants and Masterminds became like 5th edition to me in that I was obsessed with it. I couldn't see its limitations. I was getting really defensive if anyone criticized the game. I was just not nasty, but I was being consumed. I was letting myself be consumed by it. I was almost idolizing it, which is why, like, taking a break from it to play Lancer, going back to play D&D and actually play D&D instead of just running it, has been revolutionary for me. Playing and running Lancer has been great for me, but I never want to idolize a game system the same way that I used to idolize Yu-Gi-Oh, the same way that I used to be obsessed with so many things. Like, hyperfixating is one thing, but I don't want it to become like integral to like my identity, and that's hard. Because for that, in that moment when you're hyperfixating, it feels like it's your all in all, and you can never imagine, you just can't fathom a time when you won't be interested in it. But like, having lived this life, I know that the interest will pass at some point, and that's just really hard. And like, life is kind of what happens between hyperfixations. Speaking of which, I need to schedule an eye doctor appointment. I was just moving my glasses and I'm like, I need to do that. I was supposed to do that like 6 months ago. Life just happened. But thank you all for coming along on this stream with me. Thank you for coming along on this adventure. It's been fun. It was fun doing this. I don't know if I'm gonna do. I might go back to doing writing. I still have to do rewrites to really take into account the stuff I got from the pastor. I'm not mentioning names because I don't have permission to mention people's like names or monikers. I'll probably have to do that at some point to credit people for interviews if I ever finish this, if I ever publish it. That's another thing. Like I'm kind of just following the motivation, and that's just where the motivation is leading me right now. That's just where I'm going right now. See if there's anything cool. All right. Ugh. Let's see if there's anything cool to talk about before we wind down for the night. So, what's everybody doing this weekend? I've got a Lancer game that I need to prepare for, because my players are getting to the point where they're getting ready to leave the area they're at, so I have to prepare them for whatever they're gonna do next. Games with friends anime. That's great, Nabiru. I'm doing. I think I mentioned this earlier. I'm doing a one shot tomorrow, and I'm actually interested in how this is gonna go because it's like it takes place before our last session. And I thought I was just gonna be like researching in a library, so I'm expecting like the one shot to be like different people I meet in the library. That's what I'm expecting. And my DM is just like, yeah, it's going to be really hard for you to succeed in this one shot on your own. And I'm like, what am I dealing with? What kind of eldritch, like, what kind of thing am I dealing with? And I'm like, am I about to die off screen? And he's like, well, you might be revived by royal clerics, but your secret's going to be out. And my secret is, of course, that I'm a warforged, because in this world, warforged are shunned. Milk before cereal, eat Kit Kats layer by layer, just monstrous ways to eat food. Oh my gosh. That's silly, Naberu. All right. Fries and ice cream, peppers and donuts, sardine pizza. Oh my gosh. Okay. Don't run away from your problems, run them over. That's funny. All right, let's wind down for the night. Though peppers on donuts sounds fun, Nabiru. Oh my gosh, that's petty. Someone's being petty about like so I saw a post where someone's like, the first day one of my kids gave me a key to their house and they're going around doing all the things their kids did to them. And I'm like, that's so petty. All right. Remember, kids, the only difference between screwing around in science is writing it down. That's always something I remember from Mythbusters. Anyway, I've said this like 3 times. I get distracted. I was looking. Yes, exactly, Nabiru. I get distracted so easily. Um, I maybe need to get a different ADHD medicine because of how often I get distracted. I have no idea. Everything's just everything's just a mess. But here we are. Let's start our affirmations for everybody tonight. So, for those of you who don't know, I like to end my streams by saying positive, nice things about all of the viewers that I have and had in positive affirmation. So I want to say to Psycho Note 30, Duelist Otaku Nabiru, Okusen, and anyone else who watched the stream and didn't say anything, and anyone who watches this VOD later, I want to say that I love all of you, and I believe in each and every one of you. I think that you are all wonderful, unique, and precious individuals. I believe that each one of you brings a special, unique energy that only you can bring to everything you do. I believe that you all make this world a better place just by being in it, and I'm grateful every day to live in a world with you in it. I'm proud of all of you. I see what you're going. I see you going through things, and I see you trying your best. Sometimes your best doesn't look all that glamorous, but I know you're trying, and for that, I'm proud of you. Thank you for giving me your time, your attention, and your energy. Thank you for being a member of this community, and always remember the Star Hunter motto: shoot for the stars, have wonderful adventures, live your dreams, and always stop to enjoy the memes. I do ask that you like the stream. It helps the algorithm with pushing it out to other people. Got to do what we can with what we've got. If you're watching this VOD and you have any thoughts, comments, suggestions, ideas, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I may not respond to all of them, but please know that as long as you're not banned, I'm definitely going to be reading your comment. I check at least twice a week, if not more. And I do ask that if you have any friends, family, acquaintances, nemesis, arch nemesis, vile enemy that you think might enjoy my content, feel free to invite them to stream or to show them any of my content. Next stream is going to be, what's today? Today's Friday. Next stream is going to be Monday, 8:30 p.m. EST. Don't know what I'm going to be doing yet. I can't say. Might be gaming, might be writing. We'll see. I normally like to do writing on Monday, but I've been doing a lot of writing, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. I got a lot of writing left to do, so we'll see. So yeah, that's gonna be next stream. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing here on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe and ding the notification bell to let you know whenever I go live or when I release any new content. Also, make sure you're still subscribed if you think you're subscribed. Sometimes YouTube will randomly unsubscribe people. And if you want to keep up with what I'm doing outside of YouTube, you can follow me on Twitter or join my Discord. Links to both of those are in the description down below. Also, always remember you are never required to donate to be a member of this community. You are never required to give money to be welcome here. Your time, your energy, and your attention are payment enough. With that said, if you ever feel motivated to donate to improve the stream or to improve my life, there are links where you can do that in the description down below. And I am grateful to each and every one of you that has donated and helped make all of this possible. Thank you all for being amazing and being outstanding. Have yourselves a wonderful night. Next stream, like I said, is going to be Monday, 8:30 p.m. EST. And thanks for being amazing.